the Ukama still alive as the Calamus strangles the Ukama. The Ukama is dead. The Mastion rests. The Volcrane comes out on Uakaza's side, but there's still a Mushuk on deck for Tide. There's still a Potamus on deck for Tide. What does he have to deal with the rest of Tide's team? I mean, these are his last two Tims.
This is so good. Platypus will deal with Volcrane. There's no chance for Ukazi. And yeah, he knows that. He surrenders.
Game 1 of the semifinals going to Tide. What a heck of a game. What a heck of a game there. Questionable openers from Tide, but just like you said, yeah, the Cosmic Brain strategy with those unorthodox plays, getting rid of that Barnshee, even trading 2 Tims to do so, meant that both of his Toxic Tims were unchallenged.
I actually, like, I have such a good reference. Like, I randomly got you know those random YouTube recommendations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there was, like, a guy who streamed playing chess, and, like, seemed to be also, like, a really, really good player, like a grandmaster or whatever. And he was, like, basically inviting his viewers to play him in chess and was, like, saying, yeah, I will win against all of you, right? And he basically got stream sniped by Magnus Carlsen, like, the best chess player in the world. And, like, he lost that game, like, against Carlsen, and was, like, in the end, he was like, yeah, I have, like, no idea. Like, either this guy is, like, completely mad or, like, he's an absolute genius. And, like, that's how I feel about Tyler right now, like, after the games we've seen from him.
Yeah, like, again, completely insane or, yeah, absolute genius. Where I was questioning some plays, too. And I would really like to know what Uakazi's thoughts were on switching that Barnshee back in there instead of, like, the Volcrane. Because the Barnshee was the answer that game, but being unable to bring it out, we'll see if Uakazi can make adjustments. Going into Game 2 of our semifinals, Tide versus Uakazi. Tide is up 1 game. First ban of the game goes to Tide. It's Tide is playing on blue side this time. Bans out Whiplump, and Uakazi's ban is going to be on Mix. Uakazi gets first pick. The unfortunate part of playing competitive Temtem, whoever's on blue side has to project their strategy first, and yellow side is going to be the one that is able to respond to it. If you see the way the picks and bans work out, blue's going to pick 2 Tims, and then yellow will have a chance to respond. Yellow makes a ban, blue makes a ban, then blue has to pick, and then yellow responds. Blue picks again, and then yellow gets the final counter pick. So normally you have to run your strong strategy that can go into most team comps while you're on blue side. Uakazi, or rather Tide, really debating this, or Uakazi really debating this first pick, opting to go with Mix.
Yeah, and as you said, like, the counter pick is, like, worth so much in the end because you're, like free to choose, like, 1 of 2 Temps, which, like, your opponent can't do anything about it, right? He just has to see what you pick and, like, deal with it then in the game.
Yes. It's really hard to find a good answer to it, other than, you know, like, maybe swapping one final, like, pick order. But we'll see. Ranked mode still has a lot of updates to come to it. Krima, amazing at developing this game. We'll see what they choose to implement in the future with our feedback. Tide, for his opening Tims, picking up Mastion and Taifu again, and Volcrane coming out from Uakazi. Second ban for Uakazi. Really debating this ban between the Nidrasil and the Barnshee again, going back and forth on it.
I mean, like, maybe what, like, could work with pick and bans, like, if you had to do, like, your picks at the same time, but that would also, like, take away a lot of, like, the strategy that goes into it, right?
That is fair. Debating this second ban for Tide, hovering the Adoraboros again, and the Barnshee, also a option. Getting that wind damage out of there gives freedom to Tide's Toxic Tims as Tide decides to go with the Barnshee ban and picking up his own Barnshee.
Welcome to the game.
Yeah, Uakaza picking up Valash and Calibus. Mushuk and debating the Nitrocell pick and opting instead to go with the Ukama for Tide. And that final pick for Uakaza being the Adoraboros. And we are getting into game 2 of this set. Tide is up 1 game of Tide versus Uakazi.
I'm really interested to see like the Adoraboros getting maybe a chance to use the Psychic Collaborator with Mix being on the field. But yeah, Uakazi gotta be careful like with these two that like they survive and actually can pull off the attack, because if Mix is not there, the attack is completely useless.
Taifu with Water Cutting Lily opening this game with a bang, just like it did before, straight onto this Mix. This Mix with the Crystal Spikes onto the Mastion slot instead of the Taifu. The Mastion responding with an Embers. The Mix is out of here. Turn 1. Turn 1. We are going to see what this Volcrane chooses to do. Is it Stoneballs the Mastion? The Mastion is dead. Did Tide need that Mastion to kill anything else on Uakazi's turn? What a fast opening start to this game as both Tamers waste no time.
Damn, and like, wow, that's something that couldn't happen when we would have the Fantastic Four, and you're like seeing such fast turns, Thames dying in the first turn. That's cool.
And I want to shout out to something that's pointed out in chat. This Taifu is running Sweatband. It's just going to sit here and cast